If we could learn as men to live at the pace of Jesus, our entire life would change for the better. But we have an enemy. The enemy is the culture that we're living in, makes it very difficult to move at the pace of Jesus. What did Jesus say to his disciples? He said, "Come and follow me." Now, this does not just mean go and do the things that Jesus did. This does not mean you have to sell everything and go and minister to the poor and give away all you have. But to follow Jesus means we take on his way of thinking. We take on his way of living. We take on the way he operated, the pace that he moved at, and we bring that into every aspect of our life. But here's the problem. Here's what makes it so difficult to do this in today's culture, is the speed of life. Because I know there's some ambitious men. I know there's some men who have already had success. I know there's some men who have already had accomplishments listening to this video. What are you told? You're told speed is success. You're told to get the most out of life, to try and do every single thing you can with every waking hour of the day. So if you were to look at the beginning of your day to the end of your day, what are you probably doing? You probably have a day that's jam-packed. You're probably filling every second with something. And this is today's culture. This is the hurry culture, the hurry culture, the rush culture, where I have to always be doing something. I wake up, I check my phone, I scroll, I brush my teeth, I rush to have breakfast, I check my email, now I'm in the car, I'm pissed off because I'm sitting in traffic. Why? Because I'm in a rush to work. So I'm scrolling at the red lights, go through work, feels like there's so many deadlines, so many projects to deliver on. I come home, I'm scrolling on the subway home, but I'm probably too tired to go to the gym because the day's been that exhausting. It's pulled that much life out of me. Maybe I get in a gym, gonna come home so exhausted, probably what will I do? I'll scroll on my phone while I'm eating dinner, I'll watch Netflix, and I'll fall asleep scrolling. This is the hurry culture. Are you even able to think moving at this pace of life? And when men move at this pace of life, they never become who it is they're truly meant to be, because they miss it. They're going too fast. They're too distracted. Right? We will become great by not doing a million things, not always filling our time, not always being distracted. We will become great men by doing a couple things well. And this is the pace of Jesus. The pace of Jesus was completely contradictory to the culture we live in, to what you're being told as a man who wants to be successful, as a man who has ambitions, that you gotta hustle, that you gotta grind, that you can't sleep in, that you only need to operate on 4 hours of sleep. Now, I'm not saying to stop working hard. I'm not saying that those 60, 70, even 80-hour weeks, those may be required at some point in your journey. And I honestly believe that's a good thing. But there can still be a pace. There can still be a mindset. There can still be an embodiment of Jesus in everything that you're doing day to day. Because how did Jesus move?
Content creator.
Yes, sir.
Make sure you get the new RNA.
Let's see it. That thing is fresh.
Yeah.
What we got going on? What's the top speed?
45.
45?
Yeah, she gorgeous, ain't she?
That thing looks good.
It's a street dirt bike, street legal, pedal assist. You get the 45.
Let's go.
Years.
I'm gonna have to pick up one of those.
They online. They on sale right now too.
Really?
Like 1,200 right
How
now.
much did you get it for?
12.
12? 1,200?
Yeah.
That's fresh.
You
What's
know
your
the
name,
other
bro?
ones is too small. Nice to meet you.
What's
too.
your name?
Champ.
Champ. Jack. You need prayers for anything?
Nah, I pray every morning, bro.
That's all we
That's
need.
the key.
That's the only
That's the
key.
key.
we
It's
need.
not us against them or us against whoever. It's unity and prayer
Amen.
and help.
It's us against the enemy.
Well, the enemy is whoever is with the shaitan,
Yeah.
who is the devil.
Exactly. Bro needs some prayer in his life.
Yeah, it's cool. He'll be alright.
Alrighty, brother. God
Maybe
bless.
his wife didn't sleep with him last
Right?
night. I don't know. I don't want
You too, man. So we got disrupted there. That was good. Haven't got much like that on the camera before. So I'm gonna turn this down a little bit. It's about to get pretty bright. So, the pace of Jesus, completely contradictory to the way that we're living right now. The pace of Jesus, look at his life. Jesus always walked, he never ran. He always withdrew, and he always rested. And yet he accomplished more in his 3 years of work than we'll ever accomplish in our entire life. For those of you who don't know, Jesus didn't start his public work, his public ministry until he was 30 years old. And that lasted for only 3 years until he died. But he did more in that 3-year period than we'll ever do in our entire life. Yet as you read the Bible, you see some things that stand out, some patterns, some repeated patterns that Jesus had in his life. And I know if we can embody these, our life will become better. Our work will become better. Not only will we do it well, will the quality of our work improve, but so will the quality of our mindset. So will the quality of our relationships, because we'll be more present. So will the quality of our workouts, because we'll be less rushed, we'll be less filled with dopamine, because we're not always scrolling on our phones. Everything will improve. And I want to talk about the first thing that Jesus did was he always walked. There's a story where Jesus' cousin, I believe, his name was Lazarus, he heard he was sick. Lazarus' family sent news to Jesus that he's sick, it looks like he might die. Jesus, come and help us. And he didn't go right away. He waited. He stayed in the exact same place. And it was only after he heard that Lazarus was dead did he headed out to go to his city. He didn't show up at Lazarus' place until he had been dead for 4 days. 4 days. Notice how he wasn't in a hurry. Notice how he wasn't in a rush. He wasn't running. And what did he do? He performed one of his greatest miracles during his life before the resurrection, before he died. This was part of his ministry. This wasn't post-resurrection. And he raised Lazarus from the dead. He brought the dead back to life. And every step was intentional. If he had rushed there and saved Lazarus before he died, it wouldn't have been as big of a miracle. It wouldn't have been as big of an opportunity to allow people to see that he was truly the Son of God. And it was in the waiting, in the lack of hurry, that he truly accomplished everything that he was capable of. It was the not rushing and the waiting and the being patient that allowed him to do more. And now we see also Jesus always withdrew. And I have a verse for you guys. I believe it's from Mark 1:35. It says, very early in the morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up, left the house, and went off to a solitary place where he prayed. And this is a large part of the problem that I continuously face. Is there's so much noise and stimulation. We have so much to do on a day-to-day basis, and we live in a culture that's just pumping dopamine and advertisement and marketing and content in our face all day long. That if I don't intentionally withdraw to a solitude place every single morning and spend time in silence, in prayer with God. I'm anxious, I'm stressed, I'm overwhelmed, and the weight of the world is resting on me. I feel like I have to figure out everything. But when I sit in that peace, in that solitude, in that quiet, in that prayer, in the morning, things start to become clear. The Holy Spirit speaks to me, gives me guidance, gives me wisdom, helps me understand what I need to do. And there's a peace and an ease. And I'm not working any less hard during the day, but I'm working from a place of being charged by the Holy Spirit. I'm working from a place of being connected to the vine. But that only comes because I intentionally withdrew. And this is the verse that you'll see, specifically written about so many times. Jesus withdrew in the morning. He withdrew to a solitary place. He withdrew to pray. He stayed up late at night to pray. He went away from the people, away from the crowd, away from the noise. And if you can do the same, you'll tap into an ability to think and see things which is from God that you never would have had otherwise. Never would have had otherwise. So Jesus always walked, he always withdrew. And then the last thing, something we don't know in this culture, is rest. Jesus always rested. And he rested amidst chaos. He rested in the valleys. He rested when he was going through battles. Because he knew he needed that in order to become equipped, in order to march into those battles with the strength that he truly needed. We see in Mark 4:37 to 38, it says a furious squall came up, a big storm came up, right? They were in a boat on the ocean, and the waves broke over the boat so that it was nearly swamped. Jesus was in the back of the boat, he was in the stern, sleeping. He was sleeping. They're in a big storm, he's in the back of the boat sleeping. And the disciples woke up and said to him, "Teacher, don't you care if we drown?" And what did he go on to do? He went on to wake up, literally speak a word. He spoke a word, and that entire storm quieted in a second. Right? He was charging up. He was getting the rest that he needed. I heard an incredible phrase that says, we work from rest. Rest is our fuel. We don't work to rest, we work from rest. And what is rest going to allow you to do? Well, Jack, my life is so busy, my work is so demanding, I can't rest. There are some studies that have shown, I don't know the exact numbers, but it was something like people who worked 55 hours did the exact same amount of work as people who did 70 hours of work. 55-hour a week people did the exact same amount of work as people who worked 70 hours, right? Because there's a capacity limit, there's a cutoff. And if I can do the work that would typically take me 5 hours in only 2 hours because I'm rested, why would I not want that? My focus is going to be better, my energy is going to be better, my clarity is going to be better. So men, realize this, the culture we live in is a lie, but it's a trap. They want you to be deceived so that you just become a slave to the system, so that you can't think for yourself, so that you can't tap into God. Talks about in one of the parables being connected to the vine. God's the vine. If we can plug into the vine by going slow, by going to solitude and prayer, by resting, and plug out of all the noise, you have everything you need. You have all the answers you need. And that's been the biggest focus in my life right now, in this season of my life, is to plug in to Him and plug out of all the rest of the noise. So boys, realize, this does not mean you stop working hard. This does not mean you stop working long. But what it does is it means your work improves. The quality of your work improves. Your mindset, your focus, your energy, your relationships, you're now actually present on what matters. And I'll leave you guys with this. Jesus accomplished more than any of us could ever get close to. He always walked, yet was always right on time. Because he was in tune with the Father, he was plugged into the vine. He was moving at the pace of God, in step with God. If God is my leader and guide in life, I don't have to force and I don't have to control. I just need to surrender and listen. The question becomes, within the hurry, within this culture of speed that we live in, within the constant dopamine and the notifications and the scrolling, can you be still enough to hear him? Because if you can, he will unlock levels. He will unlock things in your life that you never could have possibly tapped into otherwise. Boys, he's the true vine. He will make you the most incredible man, the most powerful man you ever could imagine. It says, for those who love God, he will do exceedingly and abundantly more than they could ever imagine. You have your vision of the man you could become, of the life you would create. If you plug in with God, he will 10 times that. He will 30, he will 50, he will 100 times that. And you can't even see it right now until he shows it to you, until he brings you to that place. Boys, tap in. Don't run, walk. Get to that place of solitude and prayer. And get some rest. And work your butt off while you're doing it. It can all happen if you embody and live at the pace of Jesus. Let's go. If you want to schedule a call, if you want to get clear on where you want to be, first we're going to figure out where it is you are right now, what's holding you back, and a path to get you there. Right? If you have this vision of that man, of that life, but you feel stuck, you feel like you need the accountability, you haven't been able to figure out the consistency and the discipline or the structure and the systems to show up and do those things every single day, there's a link in the description of this video. You can book in a call. We'll have that conversation. If it's a great fit, if it's perfect, exactly what you need, we'll get you on the team. We'll get ripping. If not, I'll at least point you in the right direction. Boys, let's dominate. Plug into the vine. Let's go. Peace.